Have you ever witnessed a street fighter rise to become a legendary figure in the world of MMA? And that too in less than a decade. Today, I take you to the riveting world of a man who rose from the gritty streets of Miami to become a legend in the realm of combat sports. His name resonates with power, determination, and an unparalleled fighting spirit, Kimbo Slice. Buckle up as I navigate through the early years of Kimbo's life, where he honed his skills in the unforgiving arena of street fighting. From his jaw-dropping debut in the Cage Fury Fighting Championships to the historic CBS broadcast that catapulted him into the mainstream, we'll witness the transformation of a street brawler into a participant of one of the most iconic seasons of The Ultimate Fighter. His encounters with fighters like Ken Shamrock and Dada 5000 mark the final chapters of a story that is as compelling as it is tragic. But there's more to Kimbo's story than meets the eye. From the highs of his victories to the challenges and controversies that defined his path, discover the man behind the legend, the heart behind the fighter, and the legacy that still lives on. Imagine the hot streets of Miami, a place buzzing with anticipation where countless showdowns have already unfolded. In these streets, a young Kimbo faced challenges that shaped his future, from confronting bullies at school to standing up for himself and others. Now imagine a figure emerging from the shadows, not with a script, not with a plan, but with raw talent and an unquenchable thirst for victory. That figure? None other than the legend himself, Kimbo Slice. Mom, I want to be famous. With these simple words, a 9-year-old boy began a journey that would unfold in ways no one could predict. Little did he or his mother know how these words would echo through the gritty streets of Miami to the bright lights of the world of the MMA. But how did the unimaginable become a reality? Well, let's see. Born in the Bahamas in 1974 as Kevin Ferguson, Kimbo Slice moved to Miami with his mother and his 2 brothers when he was 5 years old. Growing up in the tough neighborhoods of Miami as a child of a single mother, he faced a world filled with challenges. He learned early to fight for himself and his loved ones, experiences that laid the foundation for his unwavering perseverance and desire to create a better life for his family. After settling into their new home, Kimbo and his siblings learned the hard truth about their new environment. They were different from others, and many of their peers didn't accept them, especially at school. The fellow kids couldn't accept the differences. The result was bullying, fights, and beatings. But Kimbo wasn't ready to take it. No one would met out such treatment to him, and later, anyone else. He would beat the bullies. And some of those fights were so vicious that even the teachers and principal couldn't separate those fighting. But he ensured that he didn't become what he was fighting against. He didn't become a bully himself. Nevertheless, these fights can be called his early years of training. After entering adult life, Kimbo had it tough. He worked as a security guard for a strip club in a pretty rough area of Miami. It was while working at this strip club that Kimbo faced dangers few could handle, marking the beginning of his journey into street fighting. This career shift was suggested by his friend Mike Ember, who noticed Kimbo's potential due to his unbeaten record in fights. Tragically, Kimbo's time at the club was marked by violence, including an incident where he was run over by disgruntled patrons he had ejected from the club. Following this, Kimbo's relationship with Mike Ember deepened as Mike transitioned from friend to Kimbo's manager. At that time, Mike was involved in the adult film industry. The job was the same for Kimbo, as he was security and also driving. At that time, Kimbo was homeless and used to sleep in the car that he got for work. However, his job was still insufficient financially. Mike suggested to him that he should fight and make money with it, as he hadn't seen him lose a fight ever. That's how Kimbo started off his street fighting career. After a month of small fights, Team Kimbo struck up a fight with Big D, who had just gotten out of prison. This was the first filmed fight and had gone viral. Kimbo Slice made ripples in the digital world in 2003 as Ferg. This was the public's first taste of Slice. A video of an organized backyard fight emerged between Ferg and Big D on an adult website. This video made one thing clear to everyone who was watching. This man was no ordinary fighter, with his opponent left bloodied and badly swollen around his right eye. Slice rose to fame overnight as the footage went viral. Before Slice went pro, he had another claim to fame that many people tend to overlook. He was one of the world's first YouTube celebrities. He got started on YouTube in 2005, before the site was even officially launched. As one of the first viral sensations on YouTube, Kimbo's backyard brawls attracted millions, making him a pioneer in online street fighting videos. He was perhaps more of a household name than the platform that he was on. According to Kevin Cannoli, Slice was the first person he entered the name of into YouTube. That's when his backyard fights garnered more audience and he became a celebrity. His YouTube videos were simple, showing Kimbo challenging the neighborhood dudes to fights. Fights would occur in a South Florida backyard, warehouse, or a parking lot where Kimbo would slice his opponents. In the end, he would be casual about his win, not gloating, and that was his charm. Sometimes, he would walk over and comfort his opponent who had just fallen down from his beating. By 2006, Slice's videos had garnered millions of views, which was quite an achievement, given YouTube's average per-day views amounted to only around 8 million. He was given the title of Undisputed Online King of the Underground Bare-Knuckle World by Rolling Stone. By himself, Kimbo had brought that world to the limelight too. He would make his debut in professional fighting in 2007. His professional fighting career might not come off as successful for many. His pro record was mixed, but the fact that he actually made it to that point was a resounding success within itself. Not many before him ascended from handheld, shaky videos to primetime fights on CBS. What's more, he got immense love from his fans and changed the internet while doing so. Kimbo became an online celebrity before it was even a valid concept. Kimbo's fame reached the bigwigs of the industry as well. As his friend and manager Mike revealed in an interview, Mike Tyson met with Kimbo at a concert in the Miami arena. Despite advice from icons like Mike to stay out of the professional fighting, Kimbo's need to provide for his family drove him to make the leap into the MMA world in 2007. Mike told Slice that he was a big fan of his work. He also advised him, never go pro. You keep doing what you're doing. It's like you're going to be better off that way. But obviously, acting on this advice wasn't easy for Kimbo, as he needed more money to provide for his family. The turning point came in the summer of 2007, when the whispers of Kimbo's transition to professional MMA started circulating. The world soon learned that Kimbo wasn't just a street fighter. He was a force to be reckoned with in the world of mixed martial arts. As we close this chapter on Kimbo's rise from the streets, stay tuned to see how he took the MMA world by storm, facing challenges and controversies in the professional arena. The air was thick with anticipation, the spotlight gleaming on the stage and the crowd holding its breath. Kimbo Slice, the street legend, was about to face off against none other than the Olympic gold medalist and former WBO champion Ray Mercer. The stakes were high, the tension palpable, but in just 90 seconds, Kimbo earned his stripes both figuratively and literally. $80,000 richer and a newfound respect in the MMA community, Kimbo Slice had announced his arrival. This victory was not just a win in the ring, but a statement to the world that a street fighter could rise to the heights of professional sports. His fights, including a 19-second knockout against Bo Cantrell, showcased not just his raw power, but a growing skill set. Each fight was a step forward in Kimbo's evolving technique, demonstrating his ability to adapt and grow in a sport that was new to him. But the real game changer came when he faced off against the wild and fierce Tank Abbott. The 43-second annihilation became one of the most brutal moments in MMA history, solidifying Kimbo Slice as a legitimate force in the sport. Kimbo wasn't just a street fighter trying his luck in the cage. He was transforming into a bona fide mixed martial artist. Then, he made the jump from CFFC to major MMA promotion Elite XC. Elite XC, one of the fastest growing promotions at the time, recognized Kimbo's star potential. His fights, including the 19-second knockout of Bo Cantrell, showcased not just his raw power, but his growing skill set. However, this leap didn't sit well with some of the MMA fans who preferred the MMA to be rough, rugged, and not like any other sport where the fans liked him or hated him. They tuned in by the millions, 6.5 million to be exact. When Elite XC folded in 2008, The UFC was more than willing to leverage those ratings. James Thompson, a former Pride FC veteran, stepped into the cage, setting the stage for one of the most watched MMA showdowns in television history. But as the saying goes, the higher you climb, the harder you fall. Kimbo's next fight was with Seth Petrozelli. In just 14 seconds, Kimbo tasted defeat, and the aftermath brought scandal. Petrozelli revealed that he had been offered extra money to keep the fight standing. This controversy highlighted the complex dynamics of professional MMA, where fame, finance, and fighting prowess intertwine. Elite XC faced financial turmoil, leading to bankruptcy, and Kimbo found himself at a crossroads. But it wasn't the end for Kimbo. UFC president Dana White, who was a big critic of Kimbo earlier, said that Kimbo couldn't even make it through The Ultimate Fighter, and yet he saw potential in him. Soon, Slice wound up as the centerpiece to the 10th season of The Ultimate Fighter, and it was there that the fans got to know the real Slice. His participation in The Ultimate Fighter revealed a different side of Kimbo, one that showed perseverance, humility, and a conscious desire to learn and improve. TUF 10 manifested a lot of drama, from immaturity to downright bullying. However, Slice took no part in it. He remained humble and quiet. In another fight, Roy Nelson, a seasoned fighter with a wicked punch, awaited Kimbo in the octagon. While Kimbo showed glimpses of evolving skills, Nelson's ground game proved superior. Despite a loss to Roy Nelson, Kimbo's time in the UFC garnered respect. Yet Kimbo's UFC stint was short-lived. His skills, while formidable, couldn't match the elite athletes in the organization. Kimbo was released from his contract, but that didn't mark the end of his combat sports journey. His foray into boxing marked another chapter in his diverse fighting career, showcasing his versatility and relentless spirit. In a surprising turn, he transitioned to professional boxing, amassing a 7-0 record against questionable opposition. However, Kimbo's focus shifted, and after nearly 3 years, he hung up the gloves, prioritizing family over the fight. But the allure of the cage proved irresistible. He signed a long-term deal with Bellator and faced off against Ken Shamrock. The fight ended with a dramatic comeback, showcasing Kimbo's unwavering spirit. The legend continued to grow with each fight, culminating in a match against Dada 5000, a fellow street fighting alumnus. The bout, fought under Bellator, was a spectacle that didn't live up to the nostalgic expectations. Both fighters, former tough guys from the neighborhood, succumbed to exhaustion in the cage. Nevertheless, Kimbo emerged as the fresher fighter, securing a win and setting Bellator viewership records. However, in the summer of 2016, tragedy struck. Just a month before his scheduled face-off, Kimbo's health deteriorated rapidly. According to Mike, he reported having heart pain frequently, but he didn't go for treatment until it became incumbent. But it was too late then. Diagnosed with heart failure, he was admitted to the intensive care unit, desperately needing a heart transplant. The surgery proved impossible due to his unstable condition. On June 6, 2016, Kimbo Slice, the street fighting legend turned MMA sensation, passed away at the young age of 42. In his relatively short life, he achieved a lot and created a legacy for upcoming fighters. Kimbo Slice's journey from a feared street fighter to a beloved MMA icon was a path filled with ups and downs. As we look back on this remarkable career, we are reminded of the legacy he left behind. But what comes next for a fighter after the lights dim? Stay tuned as we explore the final chapter of Kimbo's life and the legacy he left for future fighters. Have you seen a phoenix rising from the ashes, or a force of nature at its zenith? That was Kimbo's journey, a remarkable tale of determination and persistence. However, some people wanted the gritty street image associated with him, even if it wasn't entirely accurate. Despite the stereotypes, Kimbo's life was a tapestry of complexities, weaving together moments of vulnerability with his well-known ferocity. For years, the familiar grainy clips of Kimbo beating men to bloody heaps remained the only information available on Slice. But this information was enough to make the public keep coming for more. This shift in perception was crucial, not just for Kimbo, but for the sport of MMA, challenging and changing long-held stereotypes about fighters and their backgrounds. However, he was still not getting his due share of the audience as well as the money. Mainstream media wouldn't cover him, owing to the content of his videos and the source, which was the adult website. He was famous, but his reputation was limited to being a street thug with a big head, giant fists, and a big beard. Slice embraced this image for a while, with his iconic chain decked with a giant golden fish and triumph directed at the camera after each victory. Even when he made the jump into MMA in 2007, promoters wanted to maintain his street-tough image that had propelled him to stardom, something that many tried to do for a long time. But Slice was no longer okay with it. He might be a tough fighter who could beat people to a mush, but it was only on the fighting stage. Beyond that, he was a soft and kind person, a loving father and son, a good friend, and a kind colleague. Being black and hailing from the streets didn't dictate that he must embody the stereotype of being a brute. The typical image of a street fighter involves being an ex-convict and having a short temper. Slice defied those stereotypes, consciously avoiding fitting into those predefined boxes. Lacking any concrete information beyond his street fighting videos, the rumor mill operated at full tilt. False narratives and interviews, often malicious, circulated widely. Without modern tools like social media platforms such as Facebook or X, Slice had no means to counter these attacks or defend his reputation. But this was about to change. He had finally gotten an opportunity to show the world the real version of himself. With his official MMA debut against 1988 Olympic boxing gold medalist Ray Mercer, he now had plenty of cameras and microphones in front of him, and he seized this opportunity. The world finally learned that he was a pretty savage fighter, but that was it. Apart from that, he was a human, and a good one. People finally knew that Slice lived a normal life, as normal as anyone with meager means to make ends meet. When videos of Slice interview appeared, the world saw a soft-spoken man with a checkered golf visor and an M&M's t-shirt. It was hard not to like the scariest man on the internet. Some people debated Kimbo's mellow persona outside the ring, while some questioned his tough demeanor inside the ring. Kimbo's journey in the MMA was a testament to the power of resilience and the human spirit's capacity to defy odds and redefine identities. Having a mixed MMA record, skeptics questioned his skill set and doubted whether he had it in himself to qualify as a real MMA fighter. However, such doubts were dismissed as even the president of the UFC vouched for Kimbo's capabilities. According to Dana White, Kimbo might not have been a fighter who could break into the top 15 in the UFC, but when you talk about real fighters, Kimbo Slice is as real as it gets. In the unforgiving streets of Miami, Kimbo wasn't just a fighter. He was a symbol of resilience, a testament to the indomitable human spirit. From bare-knuckle brawls to the highly regulated world of the UFC, Kimbo's journey wasn't just about conquering opponents inside the cage. It was about conquering the circumstances that sought to keep him down, according to Kimbo. I had to fight with myself, not to hurt people. Some serious mental wars. Fighting was a cathartic experience for him, one that could have easily led him down a different, darker path. However, he chose to stay on the straight and narrow. One of the most striking aspects of Kimbo's narrative is his ability to transform adversity into opportunity. Growing up in poverty, facing the challenges of the streets, Kimbo could have easily succumbed to the hardships that surrounded him. Instead, he chose to harness that energy, that struggle, and channel it into something extraordinary. You want to be a good father and productive citizen. I could have been on the cover of the newspaper as a killer. He preferred to set a good example for his children, underscoring his commitment as a dedicated family man. I have got to be a guide to my kids. Nobody else is going to do it. The transition from street fights to mainstream MMA wasn't without its skeptics. Many doubted Kimbo's ability to adapt to the rules and discipline of professional fighting. Yet, in true Kimbo fashion, he silenced the critics with his raw power, unbridled tenacity, and unwavering belief in himself. In Kimbo's own words, "I'm Kimbo Slice. I'm not the toughest guy in the world, but I know how to fight." Beyond the fierce exterior, Kimbo was a family man, a father who, despite his ruthless demeanor inside the cage, prioritized his children above all else. His journey wasn't just about personal triumph. It was about creating a better future for his loved ones, breaking the cycle of hardship that had defined his early years. With these hands, I can part the sea. With these hands, I feed the family. In addition to his unwavering determination, one pivotal factor that propelled him forward was his unshakable confidence. I never go into a fight thinking I'm going to lose. I always believe that I can win. His perspective on winning is rather unconventional. He said, "Sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. What matters is that you keep going." Whether he won or lost, one thing is certain about Kimbo. He was a fighter in both body and spirit.